Get ready? Get one. Can you get it? Okay, Mom will get it for you. I'm gonna get you one too, Kaylani. Huh? Vitamin. You ready, boo boo? Khalil, you ready?
Get up. You're still in the foot.
Y'all going down? Come on. Come on. They make this in every doctor's office.
That's what we put on this.
What you saying? Dad. Dad. Thanks for trying.
I'm fine. I'm fast,
You're in a good mood today, huh? Up high. Up high. Down low. You gotta lift your head up again. In the middle. All right, you guys, please excuse how I look. I just came from the gym, but I had to record this update for y'all so y'all can know like what's going on right now, what the doctor said, yada, yada, yada. Okay, so let's start from the beginning. So I started noticing signs of delay as far as Khalil hitting his milestones, probably when he turned, I would say, honestly, I would say at the 2-year mark. And it was only because like he wasn't saying like bye-bye or even going like this. You know, most babies, they wave to, oh, my hands are ashy. You know, most babies, they might wave to themselves like backwards. So I noticed that he wasn't doing that at all. So he wasn't like engaging when it comes down to, you know, waving, saying bye-bye or anything like that. And then like when he was watching TV or just in general, he could be playing or he could just be doing nothing. But I noticed that when we would call his name, he wouldn't even respond. So for the longest, they thought that something was wrong with his hearing. So we did take him to an audiologist when he was about 2 years old, and they said that he had sound in one ear, but the other ear had fluid in it. So they were saying that they couldn't make out if he could, like the test wouldn't pick up if he had hearing in that ear. So they wanted us to come back, but we never went back because we knew that he could hear. Like it got to a point where we would call his name, or like even if we were to enter a room, he would turn his head around. So we knew he could hear, But when we did take him to the developmental pediatric this most recent time, they did want him to go back to the audiologist just to get both ears checked, just so they could scratch that off the list. So we did take him back to the audiologist, which I did record a couple of clips, but nothing while we were in there because I had to actually hold him in my lap. So there was no way to record, and he was not having it. Like, long story short, he can hear in both ears. But it was a really rough appointment because they wanted him to sit still, and then it's like they would make noises in different areas of the room, and they wanted him to turn his head towards wherever the noise was coming from. So it was just like, he just was over it. So we got that out the way. So then when he went to it was like his 24-month checkup, but we didn't take them to their 2-year-old checkup on time. It was like a month late or something like that. So March of 2023, we took them back to the doctor for just a wellness checkup, and I brought my concerns to her. I also do want to state that he was going to a speech therapist previously, but we stopped going for multiple reasons. One, they wanted him to come twice a week for 30 minutes each visit. And the copay was really expensive, which it still is, but during that time, Khalil was not paying the speech therapist. He had no interest at all in speech therapy. And I feel like that the speech therapist that he had just wasn't, not saying that anything against her, I just feel like it just wasn't a match made in heaven, So we stopped taking him to the speech therapy just to see, as time went on, we just thought maybe he's just a little delayed with talking. He'll talk at his own speed, yada, yada, yada. So we brought up the concerns again when we went to the wellness check, March of 2023. We told the doctor our concerns and everything like that, and she referred us to go see a developmental pediatric. The developmental pediatric, the referral that we got, they did not call us to schedule an appointment until August or September of 2023. And that was just to schedule the appointment. We didn't actually get an appointment scheduled until the appointment was scheduled for January the 30th. So it was almost a full year before we actually could get in. And within that time frame that we were waiting to go to the developmental pediatric, a couple of, like his daycare provider started asking questions, like, was he tested for autism and things like that, because they just, from experience, they just noticed that he was showing certain signs. I definitely was looking up different things online as far as signs of autism in toddlers, autism in 2-year-olds. And it really was like me hitting a roadblock, because a lot of the things that they were asking or saying, that like the symptoms of someone that has autism, it wasn't him. So let me just start off with saying what autism is, because if you're anything like me, you might not even be familiar with really what it is. And that's okay. Like, that is okay. Somebody had to learn somewhere. And being that I never had to actually hands-on deal with it, I didn't fully understand what it meant to be autistic. So trying to learn this was something new for me, and it might be new for you. That's why I was trying to do so much research as far as like what could be the signs that someone is autistic in a toddler, because a lot of the times doctors don't want to actually put that label on kids until they're in grade school. So me realizing so early that Khalil was showing signs of a developmental delay was a good thing, because it's good to get the help as soon as possible. I know that's not always the case for all parents, especially if this is your first child, or if it's been a long time since you had to deal with a toddler. I will say, being that they're twins, I think that helped a lot. Khalil having a twin and me being able to see what she was doing as far as her developments and her milestones and what she was hitting on and how she was talking. And, she's always been advanced. So it was kind of hard. I'm like, okay, one child is so advanced, and then here is another child that's significantly delayed behind as far as the milestones. So it was kind of hard, but I knew that something was not right, because I knew that the milestones that he was not hitting, like even to this day, he just now started saying bye and hi and waving his hand, and it's still not consistent. Is when he wants to do it. But like I showed y'all in the previous video that he had up, when he waved bye to you guys, or hi to you guys, and waved and said it. So that was the first time that I seen him do it. I was like, oh my gosh, my baby. But yeah, so just to give you the textbook definition of autism, it states autism spectrum disorder is a neurological and developmental disorder that affects how people interact with others, communicate, learn, and behave. Although autism can be diagnosed at any age, it is described as a developmental disorder because symptoms generally appear in the first 2 years of life. As far as it being the first 2 years of life, I feel like it's so hard to pinpoint your child being autistic in their first 2 years of life, because I didn't start worrying until the 2 year mark. Because, you know, think about it. You only been on this earth for 2 years, like 2 years. So you know, as a mom, I'm thinking, okay, he just needs time. Every child's different. You know, every child learns at their own pace, things of that such. But I've never been that type of mom of where I just kind of like had a blind eye to it, because I feel like sometimes because they're our babies, we try not to think that there's something wrong, and not even to use the term wrong, because what is wrong with being autistic? You know, it's not something that's wrong. It's not a wrong or a right. You know, it's just different. Yeah. So if a child is autistic, it's such a broad spectrum that it's kind of hard to go online and say, oh, they're saying this symptom, or oh, their child did this, and yada. It's hard to say because it's so broad. So one child might do one thing, another child might not do that, or they might do the same thing, but they might do it in different ways. So when I started seeing different things, I was on TikTok, I was on Google trying to figure out what were the signs of an autistic toddler, and everything that was coming up, it just wasn't pinpointing the things that I saw in Khalil. So let me just tell you some of the questions that the doctor was asking when we went to the developmental pediatric. I can't remember every last question, but just to give a general synopsis of what she was asking questions like, does he interact with other kids? The answer to that was yes. However, he does not interact for long periods of time with other kids. He'll play for a little bit, but once he's done playing, he will go off and play on his own. She also said, is there anything that he is really fascinated with? Like, he is so intrigued in it, like things that, like, just normal, typical kids would not be fascinated with. And honestly, I don't know. It was kind of hard for me to answer that question, because the only thing that I really see Khalil being fascinated with is things that roll. So for example, let me show y'all. We have these planters right here that don't have any plants in it, but he likes to take the planter off because this actually comes off. He likes to take this off and roll it like that. And he will lay on the ground. He'll just lay on the ground and watch that roll. And also for Christmas, we got him like a motorized circular car that he can ride in, and it has LED lights at the bottom. And she was asking, is there anything that he's like obsessed with lights and things like that? And he always like bends down and just look at the lights and, you know, just stares at the lights and things like that. One thing I did notice was that Khalil always had this fascination with people running up to him. I don't know if that's just something that he liked or if it had anything to do with him being autistic, but yeah, he just had this fascination with people running. Like if he's watching a show and the person is running like towards the screen, he just would be so tickled behind that. Or like when he was like a baby, like even 6 months, if I was carrying him up the stairs and, you know, like a baby, like he's looking behind me and I'm going upstairs. If somebody was walking behind me up the stairs, he was, I mean, laughing so hard. Like I don't know what it is with that, but that is the only things that I've really seen him being fascinated with. And even when he was like an infant, still in the month stages, and once he hit 1 year old, I did notice something that he would do weird with his eyes. And I'm going to show y'all, but it's going to look weird. Let me take my glasses off. I know I look crazy. But he would look out the corner of his eye like this, right? He would look out the corner of his eye like this and move his head, but never move his eyes. Just keep it like this the whole time. Like he will always look in the corner of his eyes and just move his head. And the doctor, when I took him to go get to go get tested for autism, she said that's actually called eye tracking, which she said that is a form of stimming. So like autistic children, if they get like overstimulated or really happy, or sometimes if it's just too much going on around them, or if they're like happy, they might do things that's stimming. So you might see like flapping their arm or flapping their hands, things like that. And Khalil, that was just what he did as far as the eye tracking. Now he hasn't did that in so long, y'all, but would y'all believe he hasn't did that in probably, I would say maybe 6 months, but the day we went to his appointment, he did it. He did it. So she saw it firsthand, which I guess is a good thing, but he did it. Yep. I thought we was over that. And I actually did bring that up to his primary care physician when I first noticed that he did it. And she was like, oh, boys tend to do weird things. So, not saying that she dismissed it, but she didn't have the means to diagnose him as being autistic. So she really didn't know what it was, but she still referred him to go see a developmental pediatric that can actually diagnose him. So the developmental pediatric was also asking questions like, does he like affection? And that's one of the things that I noticed a lot when it came down to reading different traits of children with autism, or even adults. They don't really like affection or like, hugs and things. And Khalil loves that. He loves it. He loves being up under me or his dad, or he just loves affection. So a lot of the questions that she was asking, it was like, no, he doesn't display that. No, like he just doesn't. So I would say she observed, while she's asking questions, she observed him playing with the toys. And at the end of it, she stated that, I am going to diagnose him with autism. He also got diagnosed with expressive speech delay. And I asked her, I said, what signs is he showing that makes you feel that he's autistic? Because I'm like, you only spent an hour with him. That's how long the appointment is, an hour. You only spent an hour with him, and you off back is, saying he's autistic. Not saying that I'm doubting her, but like, honestly, you guys, when they're observing these children, it's really their opinion, because all she's doing is looking at him playing, asking me questions, and depending on how I answer determines whether or not he's autistic. So I asked her, I said, what makes you feel that he's autistic? And she stated, because when he was playing with the toys, even though he played with all of the toys, it's one particular toy that he had a liking to, which was like a turtle. Like he kept that toy in his hand the whole time that he was playing with the other toys. And she said, because if it was just a speech delay, he would still be able to communicate in some type of way, whether that's by pointing, grabbing my hand and taking me to something. And being that he does not do that, she said that she feels that that's also a sign of him being autistic, and also because of the eye tracking that I showed y'all. So those are the reasons why she said that he is autistic. She said that she does feel that it's a mild case of autism. I asked her, would he be able to talk? And she said that she cannot say if he will be able to talk for sure. But there is a possibility that he will, and there is a possibility that he will not. However, I truly believe in my hearts of hearts as his mom that he is going to talk. So she referred for him to go to a speech therapist, an occupational therapist, and an ABA therapist. So far, he has had a speech evaluation, which I'll enter the clip for that because we actually took him to that today, which is why you're not getting this video on a Tuesday, because I wanted to include that clip in this video. He doesn't understand all commands. If he does, I don't. Like, if we was to tell him to go throw something in the trash.
Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes he'll do it.
Okay.
I
I think he understands the. I'm not even sure the correct word to use, but he understands that things are supposed to go in the trash.
Okay.
But not me telling him, Khalil, go throw this in the trash.
Okay.
Or like, for example, if I say, Khalil, go open the door, he won't do it. But if someone knocks, he'll open it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you had to guess how often he follows those simple one-step commands, percentage-wise, how often would you say he does that?
What, like the examples I just gave?
Yeah, it's like a simple, like if you told him like throw away, open the door, put on, thank you, dump out, sit down, things like that. If you give him just like a simple one-step command. 50-50, okay.
The only thing, as far as sit down, I know he knows what that means. But like, open door, I don't see him do it at all.
And sometimes it depends on like if you're pointing to the objects, like pointing, throw it in the trash. It's probably going to have a little bit of an easier time. Or if you're standing there with the lid open, put it in. Let's put it in.
Yeah.
Depending on like how those cues are given.
Yeah, I feel like he responds more when he's given cues.
Okay.
Versus just verbally telling him. I will say, yeah, because even at first when I was to point to something and say, pick it up, at first he wouldn't even look at what I was pointing at, but I do notice now he will look at it and he will pick it up.
Okay. You hiding under there? Any like simple sounds like animal noises, oh no, yay, things like that.
Ouch. Like if he hits his head, he'll say ouch. I also noticed that when he has the dinosaur in his hand, he'll do like the roar sound.
Awesome, that's great. And how does these deficits with communication, like him not talking, how does this impact you guys at home? I know you said that like you kind of have to anticipate what he wants or needs. Do you feel like there are times when he's misunderstood, you're not able to figure out what he wants, it causes frustrations? Yes,
because sometimes, like for example, on the way here, he just kept crying, and I honestly, since this whole morning, he's just been crying. We don't know what he's frustrated at. You know, sometimes most of the time we can pinpoint it, like if something gets taken away from him or if his sister takes something away. But yeah, right now I don't think it's a major issue. I feel like as he gets older, it is gonna become an issue because of the kids. You know, like I feel like if a teacher or if his daycare provider isn't able to, it's kind of like he's still in the baby stage kind of versus, you know, he should start be a little bit more independent now, and I feel like, you know, he's not.
Absolutely. Okay, so we'll just start with the first one. The first one is, does he consistently react to events in his environment, so things he sees, hears, and feels?
Yes.
Will he respond to people when they talk to him or play with him? Consistently, 50% of the time, never.
No.
I would say play with him, but talk to him. Yeah, I don't think that he really.
Okay.
responds to it.
So.
I mean, I guess with us, he'll respond as far as talking, but like when his twin sister does she really talk to him? I don't even know if they talk to each other.
She talks to him.
So it sounds like he will when people are playing with him and not when they're talking to him. Okay. All right. Will he stay with an activity for at least 5 minutes alone and even longer with adults? Seems like it.
Yes.
Okay. Will he shift and share joint attention with others? So like look at a toy, look at you when you're playing? Yeah. Okay. Does he play with toys appropriately?
Yes.
Do you feel that he understands early words and follows simple directions? Sounds like it's. Does he vocalize or make sounds purposefully?
Yes.
Right. Will he imitate actions, gestures, sounds, or words, or any of the above?
Yes.
Okay. Will he use early gestures like waving and pointing?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
He'll wave.
Yes, with hesitancy.
Yeah.
Okay.
He'll wave.
Will he point at things? I think you said he doesn't quite point, right?
He will point, but it's just random.
Okay.
Like, we don't know where he's pointing.
Okay.
Yeah, like when we go outside, he'll point up or something.
Okay. Will he initiate an interaction with others to get his needs met or to play?
Yes.
Will he identify parts of an object, like if you asked him to point to the car's wheel, or asked him to point to a hand on a potato head?
No.
Like that. Will he respond to WH questions like, where is the door? Will he look over there like, where's dad? Will he look around for him?
No.
No. Okay.
I did not enter every single last question that she asked us, but you know, as y'all heard, it was just a list of questions that she went down, and you know, she just wanted to get a feel of what he needs help with, and she listened to him, observed the sounds that he was making, and you know, the little speech that he did give to give a better understanding of what steps that they can take to help him. She did say that the therapist that he's gonna go to may want to do, I think it was AAC therapy, which is like, I don't know if you ever seen a child with like a tablet to where it has different words and pictures on it, and if they're not able to verbally communicate what they need, they can press the pictures and let you know, like hungry, or who is that, or I'm sad, or I'm happy, like, and you press it and it talks for you, so you know they can be able to communicate. So she was saying that they may want to do that. He's gonna go to therapy twice a week again, every week, 30-minute sessions. And, you know, even though I'm not, of course, happy about the autism diagnosis, I will say him actually being on paper diagnosed with autism opens the doors for so many resources for him to get the help. For example, with Medicaid. I don't have Medicaid. I have insurance through my own job. The co-pays for each visit is $55, which that can add up, y'all, because if you think about it, they want him to go to speech therapy twice a week, every week. That's gonna already be $400 and some odd dollars a month. That's just speech therapy. That doesn't include the occupational therapy, and that does not include the ABA therapy, which I'm pretty sure they're gonna want him to go to that weekly also. So being that he has this autism diagnosis, I can apply now for Medicaid waiver because he has a developmental disability. So they say. You'll hear me a lot say so they say, or say, you know, because I am very like big on what you say out your mouth. And I feel like that words are so powerful. And I don't want to say like, oh, my baby isn't going to talk, or is a possibility he can't talk, because I don't even want to speak that into existence. But it's also the realist part of me where I'm like, you know, these things are a possibility, but I just don't want to speak that over his life. I hope y'all understand that. That's where we're at with that right now. I still have not applied for the Medicaid waiver, but I am going to. But I did want to take you all on this journey because, for one, I know there's going to be observations that Kehlani is so much more advanced than Khalil is right now. And I just want to be open to somebody else that may need help, because I know this whole year that I've been worrying about it, trying to see what's going on, what can I do to help him, things like that. I was, you know, like I said, on TikTok trying to figure out what can I do. And it's actually this woman that I came across on TikTok. Her TikTok, I wrote it down. Her TikTok name, The Funny Mama, on TikTok. And her son was actually diagnosed with autism, and the doctor was saying that he would not talk. And now he is talking up a storm, which I love that for him. But she does have a blog of where she actually did like a step, I think it's like step 1 through 4, where she gave advice to moms as far as like if your child has an autism diagnosis. And one of the things that she wrote up there was that she got a genetic testing for her son, which helps to, for one, and that is something that they also did at the Developmental Pediatric for Khalil. They actually asked. It's not something that they automatically do because they said that it might not be covered under the insurance. And if it's not, you have to pay out of pocket, which I believe she said it was like, it could be like $200. But they tested him for genetic testing to see if the autism came from me or his dad. She was like, you know, it might not even come up that it came from either one of you all, but it also, the developmental pediatric did not mention this. However, the funny mama on TikTok stated in her blog that when they do the genetic testing, it also shows signs of like if he has any like heavy metal inside of his system. The heavy metal can actually cause a speech delay and different learning delays and things like that. So I'm waiting on that test to still come back. I really need to call to see if it came back yet because, yeah. I'm interested in what it says. I am going to do a bath detox that I saw online as far as like it helps to detox the body from heavy metals. So I'm going to do that for him to see if it helps with the speech delay and things of that such. And also the woman on TikTok named the Funny Mama, she said that she started giving her son magnesium, zinc, vitamin C. Y'all, I'm gonna put the word on the screen. I don't know how to pronounce it. Echinacea? Let me see. Google, tell me how to pronounce this.
Echinacea.
Echinacea. I was way off. Echinacea and multivitamin. I already gave him a multivitamin, which I honestly want to find a different one because I feel like the ones that I gave, I actually showed it in this video. It might, I don't know, like them Flintstone vitamins, do they work, y'all? I know we used to take them when we was kids, but I don't know. I'm gonna look to see do my research because I feel like do they really work? So we're gonna see as far as that. That's where we're at with that. The doctor also, the developmental pediatric also stated that he can actually get into public schools early so he can get into the pre-K program, and they actually have therapy inside the school that he's able to go to. I am not going to do that though for a couple of reasons. For one, if he goes to that, they get out at 2:30 every day and I still do work. And for two, she said that the only really the benefit of it would be for one, he could be social with other kids and he can get the therapy in school. Like they take him just like he would go to a visit out in, you know, just like I took him today, they would actually have the therapy inside the school. But the daycare he goes to now is actually like a school. It's just that they don't have the therapy there. So I'm just going to take him to therapy, you know, outside like I've been doing. And I'm just going to keep him in the daycare that he's in now because he goes there with his sister. And even though his sister is very much so, y'all, that girl's far gone. She is very advanced, but I do feel like that it helps him because she looks after him. You know, that's her twin brother. She looks after him. She makes sure that he's okay. You know, I feel like that she understands him in a way that nobody can because they're on that same level and she just understands. So I just want him to stay with her. So we'll see how that goes. One of the things, you know, just to be vulnerable, one of the things that I was worried about is like people just treating him differently, because even when I told his daycare of his diagnosis, they called and was like, you know, well, if you don't send him to the pre-K program, how is he gonna get help? Are you gonna, like, they were saying that they were worried about him not getting the help that he need. And I'm like, well, as his mom, I'm gonna make sure that he gets the help that he need. Like, for one, I'm not one of those parents that I just see something wrong with my kid and I'm like, oh, I'm just not gonna, like, I'm just gonna ignore it. No, we're gonna get this taken care of. But I'm like, it wasn't a problem for y'all until I told you that he was diagnosed with autism. And not to say anything against the daycare because I do love them, but it's just like, that's just something that, you know, I worry about. I don't want anybody to treat him differently because they feel like that he's autistic. You know, he's not, like, lack of better words, dumb. He's not dumb. You know, he is a smart child. He just learns differently, behaves a little differently than a normal 3-year-old, and interacts and receives things differently than a normal 3-year-old. And we have to adjust to that. That's what it is. And we have to get him the help that he needs. which is what he's getting. So that's the update for y'all. I'm gonna, of course, bring y'all along this journey because it's gonna be a journey. Okay, there's gonna be a lot of appointments, a lot of milestones, a lot. So I hope I was help to somebody else out there, because I know, you know, there had maybe someone else that was like me online, like, why my child not doing this? What is the signs of this? What is the sign? You know, I was Googling, y'all. So yeah, I hope it helps somebody else. And that's it for this video, y'all. Okay, so I'll see you guys next Tuesday.